Hello everyone, Giltar here with an action figure review. This time we'll be looking at the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Deluxe Class Hotshot toy. Hotshot was released in 2012, and as with all Deluxe toys, its manufacturer suggested retail price is between $12 to $15 in North America. Now this is a toy that is a recolor of the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Bumblebee toy with a new head sculpt. This is a really good example of where a recoloring and a newly sculpted part can really make a difference in a person's perception of a toy. Now, despite Bumblebee being my favorite Transformers character of all time, I'm not a big fan of the movie design. I'm also not a fan of the Prime design, which is largely derived from the movie. Now, the Bumblebee Transformers Prime toys didn't really appeal to me all that much. I must admit, though, I have purchased both the first edition and Robots in Disguise Deluxe Bumblebee toys. I'm actually one of the few people who prefers the Robots in Disguise mold over the first edition version. Now, it did take some time, but the Robots in Disguise version of the toy really grew on me. However, it wasn't until I saw the Robots in Disguise variant of Hot Rod that I really came to love and appreciate what this mold has to offer. The blue-dominated color scheme with reddish-orange highlights at the shoulders, the forearms, the shins, as well as the tail lights. The tattoo-like tribal designs on the hood and sides of the car, and also the new head sculpt, which is richly sculpted with detail. It has some really great personality coming through, especially when you consider the goggles are articulated, so they can either be positioned over the eyes or up over the forehead. Altogether, the new color, the new head sculpt, to me at least, makes this look like a brand new toy. Now, the articulation is fair, with a ball joint at the base of the neck, swivel shoulders, hinged elbows, ball joint hips, swivels at the upper thighs, hinged knees, and hinged ankles. The sole accessories are a pair of dual blasters that can either be used as handguns or forearm-mounted weapons. They can also be combined into a quad-barreled sort of gun, whether, again, you want to wield it in the hand or on the forearm. Let's move on to the vehicle mode. And here we have vehicle mode, which you can see is a very stylized Camaro-like sports car. I really like how the blue actually works for this vehicle form. It's further enhanced by the tampographed tribal tattoo-like patterns on the hood and sides of the car, along with the supercharger on top of the hood. It makes it a very nice looking vehicle mode. Now, I'll move on to my overall thoughts of this toy, and I'll start with the positive points. First of all, the appearance of the toy is really enhanced by the blue color scheme along with the tampographed tribal tattoo patterns. The addition of the different head sculpt really makes this something that, to me at least, is more of a simply hotshot toy than a recolored and retooled Bumblebee toy. I'm not sure what it is exactly that factors into this strong visual and psychological impact. I definitely know part of it is my preference for a more, I guess, classical Generation 1 style Bumblebee. But despite that, there's just something about how the color and head sculpt really work for this mold, more so than Bumblebee. Now, despite a couple of issues with the automorph portion of the transformation process, I do like how this toy transforms. It has a fair level of ease that both children and adult collectors of the toy can enjoy and get some satisfaction out of. And the accessories, while few, have good functionality, working as either handheld or forearm-mounted weapons. They can also go on the hood or on the top of the supercharger in vehicle mode. And again, they can either be single weapons or a combined form. Now, moving on to the negative points. The most obvious issues are the obtrusive piece of plastic in robot mode that sticks up behind the head of the toy, as well as the hollow nature of the torso when viewed from the sides. Now, the hollow problem is a little more difficult to solve in my opinion. It's really unavoidable with how the toy is designed. However, the plastic behind the head in robot mode can easily be fixed, either by simply adding a hinge joint so it can fold down, or a swivel joint to rotate it around in a way similar to how the first edition Bumblebee Deluxe toys head transformation is designed. Now, the automorph gimmick for the head reveal during transformation is problematic. First of all, it makes the head sit a little higher than it should, giving the toy an odd appearance in robot mode. It can be fixed by a mod you can simply do to the toy, but I really don't feel that such fixes should be done by a customer who's paid for a product and the product isn't working as it was, well, meant to be. Another problem with the automorph gimmick is that it does compromise the articulation of the shoulders. Now moving on to the last negative point, it's the articulation itself overall. While the articulation is passable, I think it lacks two key points that could have been worked into the budget without any significant increase. First of all, a swivel waist. It's basically a cut joint. That shouldn't have been too hard to do. Secondly, some sort of joint at the wrists, whether you're talking hinge or ball or swivel. Those two areas of articulation should have been, I think, implemented to make this, well, an even more dynamic toy in robot mode. So overall, this is a good toy, and it does have some avoidable drawbacks. I do recommend this to anyone who's willing to give the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Deluxe Bumblebee mold a second chance, simply because many people who don't like Bumblebee in the first place have said themselves that the hotshot variation of the mold has really and drastically changed their opinion on the toy. And to be honest, I'm one of those people. So, as usual, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you at the next video.